A young man was found dead on the road. Investigators insist it was suicide, but his family is convinced he was murdered. Don't miss it. Psychics will expose a killer girl with dozens of deaths to her name. This is the project Psychic Investigation. Only real and shocking stories. People who call themselves clairvoyants investigate high-profile criminal cases and mysterious paranormal phenomena. In this house lives a family that has been grieving for a year. Their youngest son, Sasha, died under mysterious circumstances. He was just 21 years old.
Sasha Bobik was found dead around 7 a.m. on a highway at the outskirts of Odessa, the regional center in southern Ukraine.
The bloodied young man was spotted lying on the frozen ground without a coat by local residents in the early morning. Horrified, they called an ambulance and the police. Ivan, the deceased's older brother, works as a driver for one of the police departments in Odessa. He was the first to learn about the tragedy and broke the news to their parents.
I picked up the phone. "Mom, Sasha is gone." I said, "What do you mean gone?" He told me where he was. I asked, what was he doing in Odessa?
Sasha was supposed to be in the capital, 500 kilometers away from where he died.
He was studying law at the Kyiv Institute of the Ministry of Internal Affairs.
Life in the capital was expensive, and money was tight, so the young man took on side jobs. That day, Sasha was supposed to be patrolling the streets of Kyiv. His parents still don't understand how their son ended up in Odessa, or why he didn't inform them, or his brother, about his trip.
We knew for sure he was supposed to be in Kyiv.
The experts found multiple abrasions and bruises on Sasha's body, yet all his bones were intact. Death occurred between 6 and 7 a.m. from an aortic rupture.
But how and why could the strongest artery in the human body suddenly rupture?
An aortic rupture can happen in several cases. If a person had an aortic aneurysm and it burst, but according to his parents, Sasha was healthy. In that case, a rupture could be caused by a powerful blow to the chest or a fall from a great height.
Law enforcement officers insist the young man took his own life. But why would he secretly leave the capital to do so?
He appears in my dreams almost every 2 weeks. I ask him, "Sasha, did you really do this? What happened?" He just looked at me, lowered his head, and started crying.
What is Sasha hiding? Even in death? What really happened that night?
His roommate said that in just 20 minutes he suddenly made up his mind. "I'm going. That's it." Why did he make such an abrupt decision? Who called him there?
Moreover, the family insists they saw signs of beatings on their son's body.
His nose was broken here, his eyebrow too, his eye, and near his ear as well.
His neck was bruised and his nasal bridge was fractured.
They assigned the case to a young investigator and he closed it as a suicide, even though no real examination was ever conducted.
Law enforcement is acting strangely. After all, Sasha was one of them. He worked in the patrol police, and his brother also serves in the force.
They rushed to close the case and that was it.
I wish I had died instead of him. I would have given my life just so he could live. He wanted to live so badly.
He wanted to get married.
After Sasha's death, his family learned that he had a girlfriend, Yaroslava. He had promised her that as soon as he finished his studies, they would get married. But instead of celebrating their grandchildren, his parents are still left searching for answers about how their son died.
I can't get to the truth. My only hope now is in the clairvoyants.
Clairvoyant Yaroslava Fedorova and Molfar Olena Stetsenko are taking on the investigation of this complex case.
I had a strange vision. I saw this young man standing in the middle of the road. Behind him, I saw the silhouette of a woman. Very beautiful. Tears were streaming down her face, and she was reaching for his neck. It felt as if she was the one who took him to the other side.
There were marks on Sasha's neck, bruises resembling finger imprints, as if someone had strangled him.
There were marks, like strangulation prints.
But who is this woman the clairvoyant sees? And how is she connected to Sasha's death?
It's like two men standing on either side of me. Next to each of them, a fresh grave has been dug. I keep hearing a woman crying. Could it be that more deaths will follow this one?
I don't understand either. There's this feeling, like a crypt.
Yes.
Stale, suffocating air, like standing in a graveyard.
Oh my God. Olena, look behind you. What is that?
This has never happened before. To open these doors, you need to make an effort.
The locked trunk suddenly opened on its own.
This situation could have actually caused an accident.
Listen, you understand, I turned around and there was a girl sitting there wearing some kind of gray dress. The moment I spun around and screamed, the doors flew open and she was thrown onto the road.
What is happening?
Hello.
Hello.
Good afternoon.
Please come in.
I feel drawn to that place. The death card has appeared. Next, the card that represents your son. A sudden blow, see? And now, I see a woman's card. A woman connected to this death.
Another woman. But who is she?
These are his awards, right?
Yes,
This wall right here, it's all his. When they were 8 years old, he and his brother asked to join judo together. I spoke to the coach and he agreed to take them. Said they were talented boys.
We trained together, traveled to competitions together.
He was being threatened. Something was unsettling him, you understand? It's like he had a premonition.
We know nothing about it.
From what we were able to uncover, someone called Sasha before his patrol shift. Right after that call, he requested leave from work and rushed to Odessa. It remains unclear who he was going to see and what could have made him change his plans so suddenly.
Do you have any photographs?
The mother brings the clairvoyants her son's last photos.
Yaroslava, look at this.
It looks like a paw.
Right here, a paw. Do you see it?
And what does that mean?
A dark force that is holding a paw. And look, here's another photo. Exactly the same mark.
And it's like hands reaching out toward him.
And again.
Almost in every photo.
And here as well, exactly the same.
These photos were taken a week before Sasha's death. His parents had them printed after he passed and were shocked. In every single image, there was a dark shadow near him.
When black smudges, streaks, or crosses appear in a photo, it means there's negative energy surrounding a person. Dark forces are influencing them. Listen, his whole body is covered in bruises, his face completely bruised, and his nose, it looks displaced. Do you see?
A fight. He was in a fight.
And his knuckles are battered, and one of his arms, it looks like it was in an unnatural position.
His fist was clenched.
a fist.
When Sasha's body was found, his right arm was bent at the elbow, his knuckles were bloodied, and his fist was tightly clenched. It's very likely that he was in a fight before he died.
So, did Sasha die in a fight? Was he brutally beaten and left to die in the freezing cold? But who could have taken down a judo champion? Were there several attackers?
I can feel it. There were many people around him, a celebration. I take it they were celebrating New Year's, right?
Sasha was indeed found dead on New Year's Day. But what could have happened that night? Why did he suddenly leave work, skip the holiday gathering with his parents in a nearby village, only to be found dead the next morning?
He wasn't meant to be there. Something called him to that place.
But why was he found near that particular house?
According to the young man's parents, none of his friends or relatives lived in that building. But we decided to investigate. Maybe there was something the family didn't know. We took Sasha's photo and went door to door, checking all the apartments in that and the neighboring buildings. But no one recognized him.
He died from a man's blow, a strike of diabolical force.
Wait, I think I need to step away, Olena. I need to work on this.
While the clairvoyants worked inside the house, half the village had gathered outside.
There are dead souls everywhere here. Do you understand? Everywhere. Almost none of them died a natural death. This is a street of the dead. It feels like a graveyard. Two dead young men. They are calling me. They look alike somehow, like they could be relatives. Hello. There are two dead people. They are drawing me here. Both died at almost the same age.
Yes, my son and my brother passed away.
And one of them, I see he can't breathe. His throat, it was constricted.
Yes, he hanged himself.
Nadia's son, Andrei, died several years ago. He was found hanging in his own kitchen. He was 31 years old. According to his mother, he had no reason to take his own life.
The second man, he died much earlier, but for some reason, I see a vision of him being brought back, like in a tin can.
A zinc coffin. He served in the army.
I can't quite grasp how he died. He's showing me water, like a large vat, you understand? And his body, it looks burned. He died in water, but from fire. It doesn't make sense.
He was in the Navy. There was a fire on his ship. The sailors were poisoned by carbon monoxide.
As I walked down this street, I couldn't shake the feeling. These deaths of the young men, they are all connected. I see something unnatural pulling them into the grave.
Suddenly, the clairvoyant stopped in front of another house. What she says next stuns everyone.
I see a picture, a gunshot, right here. Another man took his own life.
First, my father shot himself, then my son did too.
This is beyond terrifying. Almost every house on this street has seen death, and not just one.
There are 20,000 people living in this town, but nowhere else is as cursed as this street. Everyone is afraid. Who's next?
All the men on this street died very young and without any obvious reasons. Now, I've seen that at the time of each of their deaths, there was the spirit of a girl nearby.
Meanwhile, the Molfar Olena Stetsenko continues working with Sasha's parents.
This is not just one death. There is someone in your family who also died in a similar manner. See a man, beaten up, his body bruised all over.
Murdered or strangled, no one ever found out. They discovered him in his apartment. He was Sasha's godfather.
The boy's godfather was also named Sasha, and he too died under unclear circumstances. The investigation was brief. Conclusion: the man took his own life.
There's a presence here, some kind of demonic force. My God, what was that?
The door, it just creaked open on its own.
It was like something shoved me in the back. Good thing there was a post, otherwise I would have fallen. Let's go find Yaroslava. As I walk, this terrible feeling grows. My legs, from the knees down, they feel completely numb. Graves. All I see are graves. Yaroslava, it feels like I'm standing in a cemetery.
I said the exact same thing.
All young men. Not counting infants, men under 45 die. Sudden deaths. We fear for our children, for those who are still alive, for the future.
It turned out that the entire street had been waiting for the clairvoyants to arrive. The people were desperate. Almost every month, they buried another young man. Sons, fathers, sons-in-law, relatives, and neighbors.
Of course, we're afraid. There are 32 widows on this street. Everyone is terrified. Who's next? We need help.
Our children grow up, move away, start families, and then something happens. They are brought back here to be buried.
All these men died at different ages, in different places, but they were all connected.
And then suddenly, I saw her again. The woman who had been haunting me since the beginning of this investigation. She was greedily drinking human blood from a large chalice.
There, I don't understand what this is.
The clairvoyants are now at the other end of the street.
A crowd of dead people is standing there, and Sasha is among them.
I see a woman walking around screaming, cursing men.
A woman is responsible for all of this.
A dead woman. Buried right here by the roadside.
They say a woman was buried here, but what happened to her? No one knows.
She was young and very beautiful.
This is the woman who drags death along with her. Do you feel it? That smell of disturbed earth, like a grave. That way. That way. I'm following the scent.
The spirit, it's bound to this place. The spirit of this dead woman.
I saw the dead woman.
It feels as if she was buried in a sitting position.
She wasn't buried properly, like a human should be. And her bones, it's like they were scattered later, as if the grave was disturbed. Do you see? Blind vengeance.
She's taking revenge on all men.
This was a violent death.
She's suffocated.
They say the woman was buried half alive.
It was a man who buried her, a young man, do you understand? She wanted to have a family with him.
But he left her.
He went back to his family. He had a wife and children. This girl, she loved him so much. She insisted that he stay with her. They fought. I can feel the blow. And he thought she was dead. But she only lost consciousness. He panicked and buried her so no one would look for her. Alive. Alive. She died in that grave. And she died with the thought that the man she loved had buried her alive.
Yes, there was such a story. My grandfather told me. His friend told him that he had been seeing a girl. But that friend was married. He lived on this very street. He hit the girl hard on the head, and he didn't even check if she was alive or dead. He just buried her. She was in a sitting position.
In her blind rage, she takes young men, anyone born on this land. She moves like a dead bride. She can take anyone with her. I want to go back to Sasha. Now I understand why I kept seeing that woman. It's her soul, the one that channels the power of death.
I saw a man. The man who killed Sasha. The force of the blow. It was inhuman.
So, was Sasha murdered during a fight? But by whom?
During our investigation, we discovered that many apartments in the building were rented out. On that New Year's Eve, there was a party in one of them, on the 4th floor. The windows faced the spot where Sasha was found dead. We began looking into who rented that apartment, and it turned out it was a group of athletes, friends of the deceased. We cannot disclose their names. There were about 10 of them.
Horrifying. Sasha came to visit friends, and they killed him on New Year's Eve. We tried to contact them, but they changed their phone numbers, addresses, and places of residence. Some even left the country.
And there you have it, the young man who did it. At first, the conflict started as a joke.
They were testing their strength. One practiced judo, another wrestling. They were just demonstrating their moves, showing off their skills, but they miscalculated their strength.
I see a powerful blow to the chest. His heart. It's like it's suddenly filled with blood.
His aorta ruptured.
Aortic rupture causes death within minutes. Saving someone is nearly impossible.
He fell dead. He died in the apartment, not outside.
But the investigator wrote he died outside.
The clairvoyance version has some credibility. The lack of fractures and the small amount of blood at the scene support their claim.
They killed him and then they lied. Said he jumped.
A young man, dark-haired. He has more connections than Sasha. He himself is in shock right now. He never meant to kill anyone.
At the end of our investigation, we managed to speak with one of the law enforcement officers who had worked on Sasha's case. The man was afraid to speak on camera, so we concealed his face and altered his voice.
They really threw him out already dead. Big money was involved.
It was just a brawl. No one intended or planned to kill. But the outcome was fatal for Sasha. Because this situation was provoked by the spirit of the girl from this street of death.
If this dead woman has set her sights on hunting down the man who lived here, she will find him. Sooner or later.
What should we do?
She must be stopped.
A ritual must be performed, without question.
She must be released and laid to rest.
Does anyone here have 3 apples nearby?
Take a candle, each of you, especially those who have lost someone. The dead energies that haunted this place, they're gone now. Life here will begin to heal.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
When I think about your Sasha, I feel that he will return in the child that will come into this family, through his older brother's lineage.
Terrible truth about a cannibal sect that was active in central Ukraine. The gang's cruel leader is out of prison, trying to portray a victim. You will be shocked to hear who really stood behind the awful crimes. A young woman approached the psychics, asking them for help. Svitlana is asking them to save her from a poltergeist that strangles her at night.
I feel suffocating when I sleep.
Svitlana has always been skeptical about spirits, so after the first episode of strangling, she went to medics. The detailed checkups didn't show any ailments, but the cases of strangling got more frequent.
I put my hand to my throat, trying to understand what is strangling me and why it is doing it. I was at the church. Prayers, candles, holy water. I am asking the psychics to help me because I want to live a normal life.
The project's most powerful psychics, Yaroslava Fedorova and Yana Pasinkova, answered the woman's request.
The picture is the following. A couple holding hands. And there's something above them. It looks like an arch or a portal. And also a head.
A human head?
Yes, it's hovering above them. Apparently it's some kind of deadly ritual.
I had a dream last night. I saw a young woman with a rose bouquet in her hands. And among the roses, there were knives. She held the bouquet out to me and said it was all Svitlana's fault.
The clairvoyants are already at the woman's home.
Thank you so much for coming and agreeing to help me. I would like to know what's been strangling me all this time.
Could it be something related to the house?
There's one thing that I find disturbing. Tell me, please, why are you raising the dead from their graves?
What do you mean?
The dead are coming here through this mirror. It's a magic mirror.
Do you practice magic?
I'm even afraid to look into it, because it's distorted.
Some kind of spirit visited Svitlana through the mirror. I first thought that she'd summoned it herself. But the card said that Svitlana had never practiced magic. I need to work with the mirror.
Oh! The door opened.
It's the girl.
I'm afraid.
I saw her in my dream. She was holding a bouquet of roses, among which there were knives. The spirit showed me a horrifying picture.
It's a house. What is this loop?
Search. Search for the hanged man and the red loop. The red loop
Zhana Shulikova told me, I'm going on an investigation. A mother called me. Her son hung himself on something red in her house. How could this be?
It's unbelievable. It turned out the Clairvoyant's colleague, Zhana Shulikova, is in the same town now. She's investigating the strange death of a young man who hung himself in his house.
I am confident an otherworldly force had something to do here.
He says, while I was dying, there was a girl next to me.
What girl?
A dead girl. She told him, help me, do something.
The psychics contacted Zhana Shulikova and decided to work in the house in which the man committed suicide.
We got out of the van, and the spirit of the girl with the bouquet was already waiting for us there. However, that time, she had no head.
Do you know each other?
No.
Can I take the owner and check the yard? Here, the soil is soaked with blood. I see the picture of arms sticking out. They're sticking out of the ground doing like this.
The head. There's a female head there. It's like hunters hanging animals' heads like trophies. The head, the female head. Black hair, not very long, should be reaching shoulders. Fair eyes. It's a young woman.
Svitlana suddenly stuns everyone.
My classmate was murdered. The murder was extremely violent. It was long ago, in 2002.
Was she beheaded?
Yes. She was black-haired, very young, just a girl.
Hold up. Was your classmate in this very yard?
I don't know.
What was her name?
Irina Humarova.
Let's ask the cards. The answer is yes.
Oh, well.
Yana.
The severed head. It's nailed to the door, hanging like this.
And I see arms over here.
My classmate. She was dismembered.
Did your son kill anybody?
No. I've lived here since 2005. No.
Suddenly, Irina's spirit emerged again. She approached Svitlana and said, I'm sorry. I didn't know how else I could reach out to you. The murderer has been set free. Help me.
At this moment, Svitlana feels sick.
While we were talking about Irina, I had a feeling she was near.
All this time, it has been the deceased Irina who visited her friend to tell her the information about the murderer. She's asking for help.
What did she want from my son? She said the same thing. Help me. Didn't she, Zhana?
The murderer was free, and he was very dangerous. We needed to stop him.
Her spirit is telling me, go to the place where I died, and I'll show you everything there.
I heard that she was murdered in the windbreak.
As it turned, Ole's mother did know something about the tragedy that had taken place on her house's grounds. The woman said that the murdered girl's head had been found here. However, her body had been found in the windbreak 5 kilometers from the town. The psychics immediately contacted the project's detective. Karina Malichenko promised to be there as soon as possible.
You stay here because how can we take you with us?
Okay.
Soon, the psychics are in the windbreak, where Irina Humarova's body was found, and they're trying to find the way to the site of the girl's murder using their feelings.
It's somewhere here.
Irina's spirit emerged. She didn't say anything. She simply nodded to let us know we were in the right spot.
The project's detective arrives at the site of the tragedy.
I don't have the case materials yet. I didn't have much time, but I found some articles.
Zhytomyr cannibals, from rumors to truth.
Do you mean Irina was disembodied and eaten?
This is terrible.
All the information from such articles must be carefully verified.
A man and a woman. It's a date. A card of dates.
All the articles indicate that the individual convicted of the murder was a male.
I see someone I want to kill. I see my victim.
Was the murderer standing there?
He's watching. He's hiding behind the bush and watching.
Describe him, please. Do you see the murderer?
It's a young woman.
Wait. Are you trying to say that the murderer was a woman?
Yes.
Does this mean a wrong person was convicted for the murder? Is the true murderer free?
I don't understand why the couple came to the windbreak, but the murderer, the woman, was watching them. It was her who committed the crime. The murderer thought of Irina as her rival who threatened to take away her man.
If Irina wasn't murdered by the man who's now in prison, we needed to find the real murderer.
One of the drivers must have a map.
Give us a map. Do you have?
We're over here. Where do we need to go? What do we have here?
Psychics pointed to the village, which is located only a few kilometers from the place of Irina's death.
There's going to be a triangle. Some kind of triangle. I don't get it. Many people, they're dead. Lots of people. The dead under the same cross.
A graveyard?
Just a second. A building. People come in there. A cafe.
There's a bridge there.
A graveyard, a cafe, and a bridge. The psychics feel the bloody murderer is supposed to live somewhere here. The clairvoyants resume their search.
I see a green fence and a house of a fair color. It's white.
Open the door, please.
What is this?
What is your name?
Helena. The murderer's traces brought us here. That woman radiated the same kind of energy that I felt at the site of Irina's murder. The murderer was this woman's relative. We're talking about your daughter.
What can I tell you?
Her husband used to be in charge of this thing. She was a victim of all this.
Nobody could understand what these people were talking about. Why was their daughter a victim? And what was their son-in-law in charge of?
Helena explained that her son-in-law, Volodymyr, was in prison for murdering Irina Humarova. He was sentenced to life imprisonment. But the psychics believe the true murderer is still free. And this is Helena's daughter.
Does this mean Irina was having a date with a married man? And the betrayed wife tracked them down and killed her rival? Then why is Volodymyr the one who is in prison? And why do these people claim that their daughter, Svitlana, is a victim?
Give me her phone number, please.
The woman goes in the house and makes a call. She's talking to Svitlana, her daughter.
Hello. I have a question. Did you kill Irina because you knew Volodymyr was in love with her and would leave you?
I've never killed anybody in my life.
Irina's spirit emerged again. She was standing in tears, repeating the same phrase, that her heart had been eaten. The spirit of this girl, Irina, says, "She ate my flesh." Does this mean Svitlana ate human meat?
Nonsense. Absolute nonsense.
Svitlana, can we meet?
I refuse to meet you or talk to you.
Svitlana, I feel that Irina's spirit is not going to bother you anymore. You see, she haunted you because she wanted to establish contact to ask for help. You did it right. I feel that she's grateful.
Thank you so much.
The The project's detective expert has filed an inquiry to the police to receive the case files, and we all were shocked when the reply came.
It turns out that Svitlana has been released from prison recently. She spent 10 years behind the bars. Based on the court's verdict, she was a victim in this case. We found out that she has a child from Vladimir Konovalchuk. Threatening her and her child's lives, Volodymyr forced Svitlana to assist him in committing murders.
So, is Svitlana a victim, as the court ruled? Or is she the murderer, as the psychics feel? A few days later, Svitlana contacted us and agreed to talk to us to have a chance to address her son from the TV screen.
After Svitlana was sentenced to prison, she was deprived of her parental rights. The boy lives in another family and doesn't speak to his mother.
I live my life for him. I can only hope that he at least listens to me. Because I wasn't a bad mother. I did the best I could to protect him from his father.
Did you know Karina?
No, all I remember is her long hair, but I can't even recall her face.
And your husband, Volodymyr, did he know her?
For a brief period. About 2 months, if not even less.
This is the woman I saw in the woods.
She knew where she was going. She takes some clothes with her and puts them in something. It looks like some bucket. Why would she need the bucket?
To take the head with her.
How did you take Irina's head home?
He had a bag. I felt like I was in a haze, and I didn't even understand what he was doing. All I saw was that he was packing something and then taking it with him.
What the psychics feel doesn't match Svitlana's words. Could they be wrong? Several days later, our expert did obtain the case materials.
Svitlana brought a bucket, a rope, and a change of clothes to the site. In other words, it means the murder had been planned from the very beginning. Svitlana initially knew she would be smeared in blood.
He was planning to demand a ransom. He was going to approach her as a man who was interested in her to win her trust and lure her somewhere to make her father give him all his money. Then he was planning to release her.
According to the files, Volodymyr and Svitlana, armed with pistols, came to Irina's parents and demanded the ransom. But it was after the girl was murdered.
It was a deliberate murder, committed through the devil. A ritual murder. What ransom?
I see this man standing over Irina while she's alive and stabbing her with this knife.
No. I only saw her when she was dead.
This is a lie, an absolute lie.
Both Volodymyr and Svitlana stabbed her in turns. It was established through the crime reenactment and confirmed by the examination.
Ask her why they needed her head and what they did with it.
The scalp was behind the door, in the corner. It hung on a hook, like a wig. But I didn't see the skull. After we were arrested, and the police conducted a search, they found him under the stove. He hid it there.
I have a clear idea, son, of a family at the dinner table. Here is a plate, and on the plate is a heart.
Did you eat Irina's flesh?
You're asking strange questions. I'm really outraged because of the rumors that were spread that it was cannibalism.
The files don't mention the cannibalism. They only state that the body was mutilated.
We found the investigator who was in charge of the case 15 years ago and asked him what the law enforcers meant by stating the body had been mutilated.
They cut the meat off the body and ate it. We also found and confiscated jars that contained preserved human meat. The examination revealed the meat was of a human origin. Remains, human remains.
With this meat, they're trying to show their excellence. Like, we're not simple humans, but we're superhumans.
A little later, we went to the prison where Svitlana served her sentence to find out about her behavior behind the bars.
She had a notion that they were superhumans. She was very aggressive, believing she was a superhuman.
Tell me, how did you get the idea to sever the head? Who suggested it?
I don't know whether it was his idea or he took it from a book. It was a book by Carlos Castaneda. In it, an Indian magician transfers his knowledge to his student. In this book, it is also said that when you kill your enemy and remove his heart, you become stronger. And in his book, the Indians took scalps from skulls. It was all connected with magic.
We seized occult literature. Apart from killing her, they took her skull and made it an occult item.
My hands aren't bloodied.
Her hands are covered in blood, and not only Irina's, there are other victims.
After Irina's murder, did you participate in other attacks?
No, never.
When our detective received a reply to her inquiry about Svitlana Konovalchuk, we were absolutely shocked.
Svitlana was a participant of 17 cases of attacks on people. Look, on the 2nd of June 2002, Svitlana lured a man into a windbreak. Another man was waiting for them there. It wasn't her husband, Volodymyr. The man started beating the victim with a piece of a metal pipe, while Svitlana stabbed him with a bayonet in his ear. The man survived and went to the police. They attacked him, trying to rob him. It happened a week after Irina Humarova's murder.
Volodymyr wasn't even close there. Therefore, he couldn't force the woman to commit violence.
We can't believe this woman's words. She's clearly a manipulator. She's not a victim.
The 18th of November, 2001. This is 8 months before Irina Humarova's murder. Svitlana and her husband and brother attacked a couple to rob them. The people survived. This is what they stated. The men were demanding money while the woman was holding them at the gunpoint. It means Svitlana was holding the gun. She shot the man in the chest, and I don't get it. How could the court rule she was the victim?
The victim that in reality was the leader of the gang, the cold-blooded murderer. Now I see why Irina's spirit was trying to make contact with us so desperately. This person is free, and it's actually her who poses real danger.
We just can't understand it. Thanks to her manipulations, Svitlana received the status of the victim and spent only 10 years in prison for the violent crimes she'd committed. We hope that after our psychic's investigation, the police will revise her case, and this woman will receive the punishment she deserves. A town of ghosts. Otherworldly spirits are trying to burn anyone who settles in their territory. What is the reason behind the dead's revenge on the living? Is it even possible to stop the hellish fire of this revenge? The psychics are going to challenge an unknown mystical force that has burned the house of Marina Szymanska from Ukraine. The firefighters who arrived to extinguish the fire say it happened as a result of a short circuit. However, why it happened remains a mystery to date.
We don't know how the short circuit could have happened. The wiring in the house was freshly installed.
It simply couldn't have burned all of a sudden.
The Szymanskis claim that a week before the tragedy, unbelievable things began happening in their house.
I came to the veranda and saw a black haze. It looked like a black cloud. And I felt that something was holding my legs, like it was gripping my knees.
The house squeaked. It squeaked all the time. I heard someone's footsteps.
And the next day, the entire family witnessed the icons fall from the shelves and the window panes crack.
They all broke. All the panes got smashed. It was in the kitchen. Grandma and I were there, and she got so scared, all the panes simply shattered.
The longer it lasted, the worse it got. Furniture and different heavy objects that people can't even move began falling in the house.
We came to the kitchen and saw the table overturned. We put it back and went out, closing the door. 5 minutes later, it was lying on its side again. But all of us were outside.
Honestly, you don't see such things even in horror films. It's so awful.
Marina and her family were afraid to even approach their house. A day before the fire, the woman went to the church to convince the priests to bless her house. But no sooner had the Holy Fathers commenced the ceremony than an incredible thing happened.
Every priest has a book of prayers to bless water or home. But the moment we were ready and took the book, a page in it caught fire. But there weren't any matches. Nothing at all.
Nevertheless, even after the blessing, the Szymanskis didn't dare to enter the house.
We slept outside that night.
In the morning, the woman and her husband went to work. They both work at the local meat processing plant. Their son, Mikita, and his grandmother decided to try to enter the house to take their belongings from there.
In the afternoon, my boss told me, "It seems your house is on fire." So I rushed home.
The neighbor who lives next door was first to notice that Szymanski's house was ablaze. Since she'd seen the grandmother and the boy enter it, she ran to save them.
I heard my neighbor shouting, "Aunt Svitlana, Aunt Svitlana." I opened the door and saw the huge flames.
The house was burning from the inside. The grandmother and her grandson almost fainted. Svitlana saved them from the house the last moment.
He's little, a 5th grader. Poor thing, he got so scared. I shouted and dragged them out and...
Now we have no house. And have to start everything from scratch.
Marina and her family are begging the psychics to come and help them. The family moved into another house in the same street. They are confident that the poltergeist moved there with them.
We went to bed at night. And then I heard something crash loudly. Boom! Like somebody hurled a plate at the sideboard, and the glass shattered.
This is something abnormal, something from the beyond.
The psychics are the family's last hope. The woman says she will not survive if their other house burns too.
I'd really like them to help us find out what it is.
The project's psychics, Olena Kurilova and Larisa Hutsanu, immediately arrived in the southern Ukrainian town of Kilia, where Marina lives. They attend the site of the burned house to tune in to the event's energy.
Listen, there's a voice rumbling in the distance. You shouldn't have entered it.
Entered where?
I don't know.
On our way here in the van, I had a vision of people walking somewhere covered by night, and they were holding fire in their hands. They were bearing the fire.
It's a group of people, something like a secret order. You know, like those that have a centuries-old secret.
What kind of mysterious order is that? And what does it have to do with the fire in the house of a seemingly ordinary family? Marina and her son approach the site of the fire. Their neighbors and townsfolk surround it.
I also live here, and I'm scared this thing can come to my house too.
Hello.
Hello.
Thank you so much for coming to help us.
Listen, I hear rumbling. And monotonous beating. I feel it with my feet, like it's coming from the underground. I had a feeling as if somebody or something were trying to break through here from the world of the dead.
I have a vision. I see a boy with a stick in his hands, and on top of the stick is a human head. The human is dead.
What is this?
Back in the day, at the old cemetery where there are garages now, a human skull was dug out.
Who did it?
My brother, Sergei.
Do you have Sergei's photo? What did he do with the skull he'd found? Did he play with it?
Yes. He put candles and different lights in it.
Look, this is desecration of the dead. Spirits take revenge for such things.
Oh, God. Yes, I see this man. He's about 30. He's wearing a uniform. He's a military man.
What kind of cemetery was it?
It was an old military cemetery.
It turned out that there is an unusual cemetery in the town. The graveyard contains the remains of soldiers who perished during the assault on the local fortress during the Russo-Turkish War.
Marina's younger brother, Serhiy, brought the skull to their parents' home, where, until recently, the family lived. Could it be that the terrible force is the spirit that is bound to this house?
But Serhiy found the skull 20 years ago, and then he threw it away.
You know, I don't see your brother among the living. He's dead.
He didn't die naturally. It was an accident or some kind of tragedy.
His car crashed while they were coming back from the seaside.
What injury did Serhiy have?
He played with the head, and so it was. He hurt his head.
Exactly. His head was injured.
The spirit took him to the other world.
Blood for blood, death for death, a head for a head. It was a revenge.
This spirit is not related to this house. I mean, it found peace after it received what it wanted.
But what is the force that I feel? And I feel the beating. Boom! Boom! It won't calm down. The rumble from the underground did not stop, but it was becoming louder and louder. Look, the crows over the house.
Wow, no way. They're flying in circles.
Crows are both precursors of death and collectors of souls. The birds were obviously giving us a sign.
Can the thing that happened to Marina's house be somehow connected with the abandoned house nearby?
Come on.
Nobody has lived in this house for 2 years. Its owners left it and moved out. Nobody knows where they went or why, because they never told anybody. The townsfolk say that the family fled because of some mystical events. The door was open, so Larisa Hutsanu decided to go inside and work there. Meanwhile, Olena Kurilova was tuning in next to the house.
God, when I burned the blessed candles, they started hissing. It was a sign that there was a guest from the beyond in the house. Ah, oh dear, God.
Get out quick.
Olena, a wardrobe fell on me. There's really somebody in there, you see.
At this moment, something incredible began happening to Marina.
Are you unwell?
My knees shook and my body is trembling. And I feel cold inside and my hands are cold.
I looked at Marina and she was trembling, and a male spirit was standing behind her. It's a man with a scar on his face. He's burnt badly. He apparently died in a fire.
It might sound strange, but the locals claim that nobody has ever burned in this house.
It seemed that the spirit that scared Larisa in the house attacked Marina. We had to break the link with him immediately. The spirit of the man with the scar is bound to the abandoned house. It was it that made the owners leave. Everything in it banged and rattled. They were simply scared to stay in it.
The spirit wasn't related to the owners of the house. I had a feeling that it had occupied their territory.
But who was this man? Larisa, look, I feel the fire with my back. I'd like to leave this place. Is anybody home? Could you please let us in?
As it turned out, this man and his family used to rent the house. However, they moved out of it because of the mysterious things that happened in it.
It's impossible to live in there.
Yes. We wanted to buy it in installments, but we lived there for no more than 3 weeks. After your house burned, our door opened itself. And then it all began. The rumble, the knocks, and the spoons hit one another.
The psychics decided to work in the yard.
Who are you?
Oh my God.
Something began rumbling in the house. The people got scared because there was nobody inside.
Like something heavy fell inside.
It turned out that a coat hanger fell off the wall.
It was fixed so well here that my husband couldn't take it down, no matter how hard he tried.
The man in a shirt or jacket that is smoldering. And it's smoldering and smoldering, turning into ashes. And he says, "This is my house. It's his house."
The locals say that Like in the neighboring house, nobody ever burned in this house too. So, what kind of spirits are those that burned in the fire, and why are they forcing the occupants of the houses out?
I had a feeling as if the spirits were trying to force the occupants out. And soon, instead of the town of the living, there would be a settlement of the dead.
A sudden death. The same as in that house. All these events share something. I'm going to go and ask the people if anybody of them has experienced something similar. People, tell me, please. Has any one of you ever experienced something similar in your houses? I have. You? What's your name?
My name's Tetiana.
Tetiana.
This woman lives nearby, and she claims that something unbelievable has been happening in her house too.
We stopped going outside after dark. There's a shadow from the window to the gate, but it's moving, as if it's floating without touching the ground. And it keeps approaching the door. I went outside, but there was nobody there, and I'm scared to go to the bedroom. A few days ago, I went to bed and felt a touch to the blanket. I felt immobilized, like I was pressed with something.
Tetiana, let's go to your place.
Follow me.
Nearly half of the town is gathered around the psychics. Everyone is afraid that their houses can burn too.
It was strange, but in Tetiana's house, there was another restless spirit. And what's interesting is that, just like in the previous two houses, it was also a victim of fire. Olena, it smells like something's burned. I touch the walls, and they're hot, like there was a fire here.
There was a fire, but in the other room.
A coincidence or not, but about a half a year ago, Tetiana had a fire too. Like in the case of Marina's house, the official version stated that the wiring caught fire, despite it was also new.
The fortune turned upside down. Again, the card of the upturned fortune, like in that house.
But who is this third spirit that the psychics see? Because nobody has ever died in fire here.
Tetiana's family has owned the house for decades. And she doesn't recall that anybody in her family has ever died in a fire. It means the spirit that occupied the house is a stranger. But where did it come from? What is its origin?
It's a global problem, and all of the troubles are connected with fires, you see?
What are the spirits of the people who burned? Where did they come from? And why are they trying to force the people out of their houses?
There's some kind of force here. I have a feeling it is spreading everywhere, like it's growing roots.
It's hard to tell whose property hasn't burned here.
Our garage burned down with the car in it, and it also happened to a similar double house over there. They had a fire twice, and it was so fierce, so powerful.
What's that? The smell of burning, the same as in every house Olena and I had visited, started coming from the ground.
And the voice. Like a roar. Like these are people from the beyond. And fire.
It's somehow connected with the spirits that have occupied the local houses.
The ground moves under my feet and then collapses.
It's at the grain elevator. The ground collapsed there, and you can see the entrance.
What entrance?
To the catacombs.
The old town?
The underground town?
Yes.
Let's go, we're wasting time.
It turned out that ground collapsed at the territory of the grain elevator recently. This woman saw what is there underground.
I climbed down there and saw arches and a room. It was deep.
The site of the collapse was covered with a concrete slab, but Olha gave us the photos she took inside the hole. If you look closer, you can see the tunnel.
There are restless souls there, murdered people. This is where they died.
The spirits of the people who died from fire in the tunnels brought the devastating force. And these spirits treated the people from the town as enemies.
They burned. The exit was blocked. They were sealed up here like they were in a bottle. You see, the people were murdered and they weren't buried and no ritual was performed. They're blocked inside there, like in a crypt.
This is incredible, but the psychics mentioned this at the beginning of the investigation.
I see people. They're walking covered by night, and they're holding fire in their hands. They're bearing the fire.
The people were burned alive, but what were they doing here? Who burned them? And why are they taking revenge?
They defended this area. Was it a war or what?
Only after the investigation, we learned that the psychics described the events that took place 500 years ago.
Kilia was under Turkish rule for 300 years. The famous Kilia fortress was, of course, the invading force's main fortification.
The Turkish soldiers built a network of underground passages in the event they were assaulted.
They dug a series of underground passages that extended as far as the Dniester. Ukrainians who lived in Kilia were forced to guard a part of the tunnels that led to the river.
Who's guilty of your death? A man with a cup, a goblet. The man who drank blood killed them. I couldn't believe it. Did this mean their murderer was a vampire?
This is unbelievable. But it turned out that in the late 15th century, the notorious Count Dracula attacked the fortress.
Vlad Tepes, the renowned Romanian ruler, or more precisely, the renowned Count Dracula, attacked the Turks, but was defeated at the Kilia fortress. Infuriated, Dracula burned the entrance that led to the tunnels under the fortress, and then he ordered to cover the entrance that the imprisoned Ukrainians guarded with earth. They stayed there forever.
As we found out, Count Dracula indeed drank blood. Not because he was a vampire, though, but because he had porphyria.
Porphyria is a genetic condition in which a person can be burned by the sun so strongly that they may even suffer blisters. Currently, among the methods of treating porphyria is plasmapheresis, the clearing of blood. But there's a legend that in the Middle Ages, people drank the blood of animals, which made them feel better.
Olena, look, I feel that the man who burned these people preserved their souls in the tunnel. It's like he used some kind of spell. An elderly woman with long black hair taught him how to do it.
It turned out that when he was 12, Vlad Tepes was taken a prisoner by Turks. He spent 4 years in prison in Constanza. The boy was an heir to the throne, so the Turks gave him a servant, a captive gypsy woman. Could she, as the psychics feel, have taught the boy the secret lore? Was it Dracula's spell that held the souls of the people burned alive underground for so many years?
These souls are restless, and the pain that they suffered in the final minutes of being alive won't let go of them. They didn't understand what had happened, or why they were dead. This is why they keep coming back to where they used to live, to their land where their houses used to be.
They were bearing this awful energy. We needed to calm them down, perform the burial service, open the way to the other world, or else they threatened to turn the whole town to ashes.
The Clairvoyants carried out the complex ritual next to the slab over the entrance to the ancient town for over an hour.
A seal, a key, a lock, a tongue. Amen. But I'd still recommend that the locals bring a priest here.
They all need to have the proper burial ceremony.
Thank you so much.
It's impossible to believe how the energy of the terrible crimes of the past almost ruined the entire town. But the psychic's ritual seems to have helped, and the awful series of fires stopped. An unknown otherworldly force is hunting a little girl. Why is the spirit attacking the 4-year-old Karina? Don't miss out. The psychics will unveil the truth. Hidden in a grave. The family of the 4-year-old Karina contacted the psychics, asking them for help. The girl has been experiencing bizarre visions of a man's ghost that scares her a lot.
Yes, he was very scary. He terrified me. Over there, in my room.
She woke up at night and started crying and shouting. She shouted, "The man! Take him away from here!"
Karina, her parents, and elder sister Lisa live in a small Ukrainian village. All the residents of the house are in fear.
I'm afraid for her.
The girl claims the man has been trying to drag her somewhere.
He was pulling me by my legs.
But the worst thing is that after every such vision, Karina feels bad. The temperature hikes, and she faints.
After Karina saw the ghost last time, her condition was so bad that we called an ambulance.
The ambulance took Karina to the hospital. and on the way there, the girl fainted. The medics did everything they could to save her life.
She was on a drip. It was very hard. Nobody knew why it happened. What was its cause?
The doctors were able to stabilize Karina's condition, and she regained consciousness, but the reason for the problem was never found.
She was discharged from the hospital the same day, as there were no signs of any ailment in her. She was absolutely healthy.
However, the terrible vision has been haunting the girl more and more frequently, and now the other members of the family see the mysterious figure too.
It was black, you know, like a man wearing a hooded cloak. It passed from the door to the window. I was so scared that I ran out of the room and was afraid to come back.
At first I didn't believe it, but then I saw it with my own eyes. It was something dark and vague, like a cloud, and it was moving.
Recently, Lisa has had the worst nightmare in her life. After it, she stuttered for several days.
I was lying in my bed, and the corpses rose from under the floor, trying to pull me down. I tried to escape. I realized it was a dream, but I still told them, please, I don't want to die. Let me go. But they were pulling me down from my bed by my legs.
Oksana doesn't even know which of her daughters is in greater danger. Her elder daughter, the 25-year-old Lisa, had 4 complicated gynecological surgeries. During the last one, she lost her baby and almost died herself.
I lost a lot of blood. The doctors weren't sure they could save me. After I woke up, I asked them how my pregnancy was going, but they told me we had to save you.
But one day, Oksana had an adventure after which she began to fear for her own life as well.
I arrived here before Easter to tidy up my husband's mother's grave, but the ground collapsed. And I fell. In this grave. Right here. I don't know what it could be.
Mom felt very bad then. Her heart ached. If something happens to Mom or Karina, I won't take it.
Zhana Shulikova and Yana Pasinkova, 2 of the most powerful psychics of the project, agreed to help the family. On their way there, the Clairvoyants share their initial ideas.
I had a strange dream last night. I was underground in some sort of cave. There, I saw a man standing, and there were a skull and bones at his feet. He pointed at the door behind him. I approached the door and pulled the handle, but it was locked. And I heard a lengthy baby cry behind the door. The sound was so creepy. What was it?
Something hit the roof of the van.
I didn't get what it was. I was driving when I heard a thump.
It's so huge. Can you imagine what would be if it fell on someone's head? The spirit of the man. The one standing on the bones. What do you want? Who are you? What are you searching for? Why do you keep coming? He's pointing at you? Oh God, Yana! He's gone. He vanished. I feel the investigation is going to be a lot of fun.
An hour later, the psychics arrive at the Laptees' house.
Hello.
Hello.
Come in, please. We called you. We'd really like you to help us. Calm down. Calm down. Calm down.
Children? Children?
Where is the psychic running? What did she feel?
Come over here, baby. Careful, Glass. Calm down, don't worry.
This is horrendous. The dome of the chandelier fell right where the girl was playing only a moment ago. The heavy glass could easily kill the child. The clairvoyant saved her at the last moment.
What happened?
If it had hit her on the head, it could have killed her.
Karina is a late child. She was born when her mother was 44 and her father was 52. Both of them are married for the second time, and they both have other children who have grown up by now.
If you don't mind, I'll walk around a little, because I have a strange feeling. What's with the light? Look at it, the house is alive. Somebody doesn't want us to be inside it.
What is this? Does anybody live in your attic? What is this?
No.
My goodness. Dear God, my pendulum broke. I can't use it anymore. Who are we bothering so much? What was it?
What was that noise? Nobody understands what's going on. It sounded as though something had been shattered, but there are no fragments or anything.
Did you hear it?
And then I again saw the spirit of the man who had appeared in my dream the night before the investigation. But what did he want? Look, over there, right between the two plots. The man is standing on bones.
There he is, standing! Look!
It's incredible, but the girl also sees the man.
He's here for somebody. Do you want her? And
she's about to faint. She's trembling so badly, she's barely standing.
He says, it's all your fault because of the child. The child, you hear it? Wait, the child.
The clairvoyants are afraid for Karina's life.
Are you all right?
Yes, but Karina's trembling.
Then what child did he mean?
I decided to work with the girl because I felt something terrible. Karina had seen death. You are riding. It's a road. It's a road. 1, 2, 3. They're sitting. Death. A murder.
Yes, there was a man.
Did you kill somebody on the road?
No, not us.
2 years ago, Oksana, her husband, and younger daughter had a bad car crash. Oksana's husband was driving. The family was coming back from Oksana's parents, who live 60 kilometers away from their house. The car came to a stop at a traffic light while at a junction.
The light was green. A Tavria passed by us. And from the beltway, a Maz was approaching.
Wait, I see a dead body lying over the child.
The Maz hit the Tavria, and it was thrown up in the air and landed on the roof of our car. Yes, the car with the dead body fell on top of our car. The driver of the Tavria died right away.
The child is a witness of a murder.
It's hard to even imagine what these people went through. Oksana's husband rushed to the Tavria to help, but he was too late. Oksana and her daughter were taken to the hospital. The woman was diagnosed with a cervical spine dislocation. Luckily, her husband and daughter weren't injured. Is the spirit of the man who died in the accident haunting the family, trying to take them to the other world?
Something didn't match here, as they weren't guilty of his death. They were mere witnesses to the tragedy. Besides, the man who killed him was punished. What is this noise?
Something fell.
What is going on around this house all the time? And who burned the fire? There was nobody near. However, it's not the fire that draws Zhana Shulikova's attention.
Look, in front of the fire. Do you see? And here is the second one. One is higher, the other is lower.
These are somebody's children. They were killed.
Which of your relatives did it?
My stepfather hit 2 people with a tractor, a boy of 14 and a man of 28.
He didn't hit them. They collided with him from behind.
They hit the mower.
An awful tragedy happened in the neighboring village. Oksana's stepfather was driving his tractor home after haymaking. A mower was attached to the right side of the tractor. 2 young men from the village were riding a scooter, coming back home after the disco.
And the mower, it's long and has such spikes, like scythes. So the guys hit them and fell off the scooter, right on the mower.
Both died instantly.
But it's not Grandpa's fault.
He was tried and punished.
Nonetheless, something doesn't match.
The psychics are at a loss. They go back into the house to decide what to do next.
Yana, look, I have an idea. To understand what kind of spirit it is, who he is, and what he wants, we need to conduct a ritual and talk to him. He refused to communicate with me, but I think he would be more willing to speak if we used of the family members he's been attacking.
Take me. I'm ready for everything.
It was a deadlock because speaking to a spirit that is trying to destroy you is incredibly dangerous.
No, you're not doing it. I'll never sacrifice Mom.
The psychics decided to carry out the ritual, which would help Lisa establish a connection with the spirit in the yard. But before that, they suggested that the adults take the little Karina to the neighbors to avoid putting her in danger.
My heart's leaping out of my chest.
Give me your hands. We're going to put you in a trance. Shall we start? Close your eyes. Relax. You're going to see pictures. It's going to be something like a dream or simply flashes. Okay, I feel him.
Jana radiated warmth, but from behind her, I felt a chill emanate. I was very scared. Who are you?
Here we go.
Why are you always near? Do you want to take me? Did we do anything wrong to you?
This is something beyond the real. Lisa has made contact with the spirit that is after her family, and she's talking to him.
This is the man on whose grave you stood.
I had a dream. I saw a cemetery where one grave was neglected. It was black. There was a woman, and the woman said, "This is your brother." I asked her, "How come he's my brother?" Because in the photo, there was an adult mustached man. But she told me, "Think."
You stood on the grave with your feet. He was calling you. He wanted you to help him. You forgot him. You left him.
We visited my baby brother.
It turns out Oksana had another child, a brother of Lisa and Karina.
After the dream, we immediately went to the cemetery and started searching, but we didn't find anything.
Did you search for the grave?
Mom said, "It's over here," but I was drawn in the opposite direction. I tried. I said, "Baby brother, give me a hint. Maybe I'll trip over something, or something moves somewhere."
I only want to ask you, why hadn't you visited the grave before? Why is he forgotten? And for how long has he been forgotten?
He's been gone for 29 years.
29 years ago, Oksana had her first baby, a boy named Ruslan. When he was 2 months old, he suddenly got ill. He was taken to the hospital, where he was diagnosed with acute bronchitis. A few days later, the boy died in the intensive care. The autopsy revealed that he died from the multiple birth defects.
It's hard to express with words. It's heartbreaking. It's the biggest tragedy of my life. The only thing that was left as a memory from him was his blanket.
Oksana simply couldn't visit his grave.
Something was preventing me from going there. Every time I approached it, I felt unwell and fainted and was taken away. I couldn't look at it and couldn't approach it, but I never forgot him.
I don't see them as clearly now, but these are the eyes. I saw them in my dreams.
The mustached man appeared in my dream and said, "It's not boy's grave."
But who is the man whose spirit Lisa sees now?
Who is he? Who is he?
Who are you? Please tell us. Don't be silent. Say something.
We must break the link. The spirit started devouring Lisa's energy. We can't afford it. Lisa, open your eyes.
Lisa seems to have fully woken up, but the clairvoyants are yet to figure out who the man to whose spirit she spoke is.
Who is that adult man, Yana?
Blood. It's not your blood. It's upside down. The king is a stranger.
The mustached man was trying to tell me to go to find my brother.
Is it possible that the man whose spirit has been attacking the family is somehow connected with the cemetery where Lisa's brother is buried? But how?
Does he want you to bring him something? He is missing something where he is lying.
Is he strangling you? Is he? Inhale and exhale.
What is going on? Is Lisa in danger even after she awoke from the trance?
Careful, careful.
Lisa fainted. How awful.
Go, I command you to leave. The breathing is even. The heart's beating normally.
Lisa, can you get up?
Mm-hmm.
I felt like my throat got tight. I couldn't breathe in or out. I couldn't say a word or shout out.
Open your eyes.
Are you all right? Breathe, inhale deeply.
How's your heart?
We should go to where he keeps coming from. We need to go to the cemetery.
The psychics, Oksana and Lisa, go to the cemetery in the neighboring town. They need to find the little Ruslan's grave. The clairvoyants try to feel the place where the baby boy was buried 29 years ago. It takes them a while.
There's the grave. Let's go there.
Here's the place of the pain. It makes me want to run away from it.
Is it true? Is Ruslan really buried here?
A boy, your bloodline.
Son. So this is the place. Son, forgive me. I'm so sorry. Please forgive me. Son.
It's not your fault as a mother for what happened. You were with him until the end.
I always speak about him. I always remember him.
The man is also in the grave.
He was buried on top. It's a double grave now. I finally realized the meaning of the dream with the man on the bones. The bones were the boys. It was his spirit that we saw all day.
Why is the spirit trying to harm Oksana's family? All in all, she didn't even know there was somebody else in her son's grave.
There was no ransom. Yana, there was no ransom. When somebody is buried in someone else's grave, even after many years, the original holder of the grave must be paid a ransom. Because the person who's been buried in the grave first thinks the grave is theirs. It means the boy was forcing the man out of the grave, and so the man's spirit couldn't find peace. He tormented the family, blaming them for not visiting the grave or taking care of it. With time, it leveled with the ground, and then he was buried in it. This is what the spirit meant when he said they were guilty because of the child.
Coins. We need to pay the ransom. You go to the church and order a remembrance prayer. After that, the man will stop haunting you. The boy's spirit will settle down, and he will stop tormenting the man.
You must always remember your late relatives. The memory is the only thing that protects us, giving peace to us and those who passed.
We are really grateful.
May I hug you?
Thank you.
Oksana Lapti and Lisa came to visit us a month after the investigation to share the news that things had returned to normal in their family.
It all changed for the better. It's finally quiet in our house. We don't hear any noises.
Thank you so much.
The mother's grief over losing her baby led her to neglect her son's grave, but who would have thought it would have such disastrous consequences?